The package sits on my kitchen counter like a ticking bomb. Brown paper, precise folds, my parents' return address scrawled in my father's unmistakable architect's handwriting. 5 years of silence, and now this. I'm Abigail, and I've spent a decade building a life that doesn't include them. A life where success is measured by my terms, not theirs. Where Christmas doesn't mean watching my brother Nathan unwrap everything I ever wanted while I got practical gifts like savings bonds and lecture notes about fiscal responsibility. You should open it, James says, reaching for his coffee mug. My husband, always the voice of reason. Always trying to bridge gaps I'd rather leave as chasms. I should burn it. My fingers trace the edge of the package. Better yet, return to sender. Let them taste what that feels like. Abby, don't Abby me. You weren't there when they emptied my college fund for Nathan's startup. When Mother said it was for the best, because I was the responsible one who could handle student loans. The package weighs nothing and everything. I tear into it, spite driving my movements. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, lies my grandmother's silver locket, the one Mother promised me on my 16th birthday. The one that mysteriously disappeared when Nathan's wife admired it at their wedding. A note falls out. Father's handwriting again. We need your help. Please. My laugh sounds foreign even to me. Of course. Of course they need help. That's the only reason they'd remember I exist. James sets down his mug. Maybe they're trying to make amends. With grandmother's locket? The one they gave to Nathan's wife. I snap the locket open. Inside, the tiny photos are still there. Grandmother as a young woman. Grandfather in his army uniform. This isn't about making amends. This is about wanting something. My phone buzzes. Aunt Martha's name lights up the screen. She's always had impeccable timing. Did you receive it? She asks without preamble. The guilt package? Just opened it. Your father's company is failing. They're facing bankruptcy. The pieces click into place. Let me guess, Nathan won't help? Nathan hasn't spoken to them in 2 years. Not since Jessica left him. I sink into a kitchen chair, turning the locket over in my hands. Good for him. He finally grew a spine. Abigail. Martha's voice softens. They're selling the house. The house. My childhood prison, Nathan's kingdom. Where Mother hosted charity galas while I wore secondhand clothes. Where Father built Nathan a gaming room while I studied by flashlight because my desk lamp was wasteful electricity. And I keep my voice steady. They made their choices. They're asking for your business expertise. Your father mentioned your success in corporate restructuring. I close my eyes, seeing the irony. The daughter they deemed unworthy of investment, now successful enough to save them. Did they tell you about the locket? Martha's silence speaks volumes. They gave it to Jessica. Nathan's ex-wife has been trying to sell it. That's the only reason they retrieved it. They need me, so they're trying to buy me with my own inheritance. People can change, Abigail. Yes, they can. I did. I studied the locket one last time before setting it down. I changed into someone who doesn't need their approval anymore. James watches me, concern etched on his face. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time they learned about consequences. I stand up, decision made. I'm going to help them, Aunt Martha. I'm going to help them understand exactly what it feels like to be at someone else's mercy. The line goes quiet. Finally, Martha sighs. Just remember, revenge might make you feel better, but it won't heal what's broken. I'm not looking to heal anything. I hang up, my mind already racing with possibilities. I'm looking for justice. James reaches for my hand, but I'm already moving, pulling out my laptop. Abby, wait. No more waiting. I open my email. They wanted my expertise? They're going to get it. Every brutal, honest bit of it. The locket gleams in the morning light, a promise of reckoning. Standing at the end of Maple Drive, I barely recognize my childhood home. The pristine white colonial that once hosted my mother's garden parties now slouches behind overgrown hedges, its paint peeling like dead skin. You don't have to do this, James says from the car. Actually, I do. I adjust my blazer, armor against memories. If I'm going to destroy something, I need to see what I'm destroying. The front gate squeaks. Same sound, different decade. I was 17 the last time I walked this path, carrying a duffel bag and college acceptance letters. Mother watched from the window, silent. Father was at Nathan's baseball game. A Mercedes sits in the driveway, new enough to suggest they're still clinging to appearances. Old habits die hard in the Mitchell family. Abigail. Mother's voice drifts from the porch. She materializes like a ghost, thinner than I remember, her perfectly coiffed hair now streaked with gray. We weren't expecting you. Clearly. I gesture at the unkempt yard. The garden club would be horrified. Her smile wavers. Won't you come in? Your father's in his study. Of course he is. The foyer still smells of lemon polish and regret. Family photos line the walls. Nathan's graduations, Nathan's wedding, Nathan's tech company launch. My absence speaks volumes. Father emerges from his study, jacket gone, sleeves rolled up. Papers litter his desk behind him, a war room of financial desperation. Abigail, you got our package. I got grandmother's locket. The one you gave to Jessica. We can explain. Save it. I pull out my phone, reading from the screen. Mitchell Developments is 3 months from bankruptcy. Your last 4 projects failed environmental impact assessments. Investors are pulling out. His face hardens. You've done your homework. Unlike Nathan's startup, my business education actually paid off, though I had to work 3 jobs to afford it. Mother steps forward. Darling, we know we made mistakes. Mistakes. I laugh. Is that what we're calling 2 decades of emotional neglect now? We wanted what was best. For Nathan. Always for Nathan. I moved to the family photos, touching one frame. Did you know he's living in Seattle now? Working for a competitor? Or are you too busy planning how to raid his trust fund too? They exchange glances. Bingo. That's why you're really panicking, isn't it? I turn, enjoying their discomfort. Nathan's trust fund is tied to the company's solvency. If Mitchell Developments goes under, his safety net disappears. We need your help, Father says quietly. Your expertise. My expertise comes with a price. I pull out a folder. I've drawn up terms. You want my help? Sign over your controlling interest in the company. All of it. Mother gasps. But that's everything? Yes. Just like the everything you gave Nathan while telling me to be grateful for scraps. I place the folder on Father's desk. You have 24 hours to decide. This is revenge, Father says, his voice tight. No, this is business. Revenge would be letting you crash and burn. I head for the door, then pause. Oh, and Mother? The locket stays with me. Consider it a down payment on my therapy bills. The drive home is silent until James speaks. That was brutal. That was necessary. I finger the locket. They're going to sign. How can you be sure? Because they're desperate, and because they still think they can manipulate me. I smile grimly. They'll sign, thinking they can find a way to regain control later. They don't realize this isn't about the company. What is it about? My phone buzzes, a text from Nathan. After 5 years of silence between us, his timing is interesting. It's about justice. And maybe. I read the message, my breath catching. Maybe I'm not the only one who wants it. Nathan's text glows on the screen. Heard you visited them. We need to talk. Change of plans, I tell James. We're going to Seattle. The locket feels heavy against my chest. Grandmother's photos, watching this new chapter unfold. She always said family secrets have a way of surfacing, like bodies in a flood. Time to see what else floats to the surface when the waters rise. Nathan's Seattle apartment overlooks the water, all glass and steel and success. He opens the door looking nothing like the golden boy in our parents' photos, unshaven, wearing a faded tech company hoodie, shadows under his eyes. You look terrible, I say. You look expensive. He steps aside. Nice suit. Someone had to become the responsible one. The living room is sparse. No family photos. No traces of Jessica. A laptop sits open on the coffee table, surrounded by empty energy drink cans. On the screen, I glimpse familiar spreadsheets, Mitchell Development's financial records. You've been monitoring them, I say. Someone had to. He collapses onto the couch. Did you know Father mortgaged the house 3 times? To fund your startups? To fund his lies. Nathan runs a hand through his hair. Those environmental assessments that failed? He knew they would. He falsified the initial reports to secure investor funding. My stomach turns. That's fraud. That's just the beginning. He pulls up more documents. Remember my trust fund? The one they held over my head every time I questioned their decisions. The one they're trying to access now? Empty. His laugh is hollow. Has been for years. They've been sending me fake statements, probably hoping I'd never try to withdraw anything. I sink into an armchair. Why didn't you expose them? Same reason you didn't sue them for draining your college fund. They're still our parents. He looks at me. But you're planning something worse than exposure, aren't you? They asked for my help. And you're going to destroy them instead. They deserve it. Maybe. He closes the laptop. But there's something you should know first. Jessica didn't leave me. I sent her away. When I discovered what father was doing, she wanted to go public. Said it was the right thing to do. What stopped you? Mother's cancer. The words hit like a slap. What? Stage 3. She's been hiding it for months. All that money they're desperate for? It's not just about the company. Her insurance won't cover the experimental treatment she needs. My carefully constructed revenge starts crumbling. Why didn't they tell me? Would you have listened? He meets my gaze. Or would you have seen it as another manipulation? My phone buzzes, father's name on the screen. The signed contracts, probably. Everything I wanted, now tasting like ash. I'm not asking you to forgive them, Nathan says. God knows I haven't. But maybe there's a way to hold them accountable without destroying what's left of our family. There's nothing left to destroy. Then why are you really here, Abby? Why not just take their company and be done with it? Because revenge wasn't supposed to feel this hollow. Because somewhere between the locket and the lies, I'd hoped for. What? Understanding? Redemption? My phone buzzes again. A text from James. Your parents just left the contracts with Martha. She says something's wrong. Come home. I have to go. I stand, straightening my suit. Whatever you're planning with the fraud evidence. I'm not planning anything. Nathan's voice stops me at the door. But you should know I've been paying Mother's medical bills. Not because they deserve it, but because sometimes justice isn't about who deserves what. It's about who we choose to be when everything falls apart. I touch the locket at my throat. When did you get so wise? Around the same time you got so ruthless. He manages a small smile. We really are our parents' children, aren't we? The elevator ride down feels endless. My phone fills with messages. From James, from Martha, from father. Each one more urgent than the last. Something about the contracts. Something about mother. In the lobby, a breaking news alert catches my eye. Mitchell Development stock is plummeting. Father's name splashed across headlines. Words like investigation and federal charges jump out. Someone else has beaten me to revenge. The question is who? And more importantly, what am I going to do about it now that I know the whole truth? Or at least, what I think is the truth. In my family, those have always been two very different things. Martha's hands shake as she spreads the contracts across her kitchen table. These aren't the ones you drafted. I scan the documents, my legal training kicking in. The language is similar but twisted, corrupted. Like a funhouse mirror version of my original terms. They changed them. There's more. She slides over a USB drive. Oliver found this in Ethan's study while they were signing. He thought you should see it. The drive contains years of financial records, each file more damning than the last. Not just the environmental fraud Nathan mentioned. Systematic embezzlement, shell companies, offshore accounts. Mother's name appears frequently, her signature on documents that could send them both to prison. The cancer treatments, I murmur. They're not just running out of money, they're hiding it. From whom? The answer hits like a thunderbolt. From Nathan. He's been paying their medical bills, but they're pocketing the money. There are no treatments. James paces behind me. So your mother isn't sick? Oh, she's sick all right. My laugh sounds strange even to me. Just not with cancer. My phone lights up, Nathan calling. I let it ring. You need to tell him, James says. Do I? I stand needing to move. You didn't see him in Seattle. He's finally broken free. This would destroy him. And what about you? Martha touches my arm. What's this revenge costing you? Before I can answer, Oliver bursts in. Turn on the news. The television flickers to life. Father stands outside Mitchell Developments, surrounded by reporters. He looks smaller than I remember, diminished. But his voice carries the same authority it always had when laying blame at someone else's feet. Allegations are completely false. These documents were planted by a disgruntled family member attempting a hostile takeover. The room spins. He's getting ahead of the story. Framing me. He's using your revenge against you, James says quietly. My phone buzzes again, Nathan. This time I answer. Tell me you didn't do this, he says without preamble. I didn't. But I know who did. They're saying you fabricated everything. That you're trying to steal the company. Nathan. I trusted you. His voice cracks. I told you about Mother's cancer, and you used it. There is no cancer. Silence stretches between us, thick with decades of manipulation. What? Check your bank records. Every payment you've made for her treatments, it's gone to offshore accounts. They're running a con, Nathan. On both of us. The line goes dead. Martha touches my shoulder. What will you do? On screen, Father continues his performance, playing the victim with practiced ease. Mother stands beside him, dabbing artfully at her eyes. The perfect picture of parents betrayed by their child. You know what's funny? I remove grandmother's locket, studying it in the harsh kitchen light. I actually believed, just for a moment in Seattle, that this could end differently. That understanding the whole truth might change something. It did change something, James says. It changed you. Did it? I open my laptop, fingers flying over keys. Or did it just remind me who I'm dealing with? Abigail. They're not just destroying themselves anymore. They're trying to destroy Nathan too. Again. I hit enter, watching as years of carefully gathered evidence uploads to multiple servers. Sometimes protection looks like destruction. And sometimes, Martha says softly, it looks like letting go. My phone lights up with notifications. The evidence is spreading, undeniable this time. On television, I watch reporters receiving alerts, their questions to my parents turning sharper. Father's mask slips for just a moment. He knows. You're right, I tell Martha standing. It's time to let go. But first, I pick up my keys. I need to see my brother. Because some things need to be destroyed before they can be rebuilt. And some truths need to be heard face to face, even if they break us both. Nathan's apartment door is already open when I arrive. Inside, papers carpet the floor like fallen leaves. Bank statements, medical bills, transfer records. He sits amid the chaos, a bottle of scotch by his knee. I found more. His voice is sandpaper rough. Want to see what else our loving parents did with my money? Nathan, did you know they bought a condo in Miami? He laughs, ugly and sharp. While I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for Mother's non-existent chemotherapy, they were shopping for beach views. I step over the papers, each one a new betrayal documented in black and white. We need to. To what? Get revenge. He looks up, eyes fever bright. You're already doing that, aren't you? The evidence you released is everywhere. Federal investigators are probably at their door right now. My phone buzzes, Father's number. I silence it. They called you too? Nathan asks. They've been calling all morning. Begging for help? His laugh turns bitter. The prodigal daughter, their last hope? I'm nobody's hope. I pick up a bank statement. And neither are you. Not anymore. He grabs the bottle, but I move faster, snatching it away. Give it back. No. I set it on a high shelf. You don't get to drink yourself numb while they're still out there spinning their lies. What's left to spin? The truth's out. Is it? I pull out my laptop. Because I found something else. Something worse. The screen fills with documents. Property deeds, trust agreements, shell company records. All bearing the same signature, Nathan's. His face drains of color. I never signed these. No, but Mother did. Remember all those papers she had you sign when you were 19? The routine paperwork for your trust fund. She wouldn't. She did. They've been using your identity for years, building a paper trail. If this goes to court, I meet his eyes. You could go down with them. The silence stretches, heavy with implications. Finally, he whispers, "Why are you showing me this?" "Because you have a choice to make." I close the laptop. "Right now, the evidence I release doesn't include these documents. You can walk away clean, start fresh. But they're drowning, and they'll drag you down with them if they can. They'll claim you were complicit, that you knew everything." His phone lights up, Mother's number. We both stare at it until it goes dark. "What would you do?" he asks. "I'd burn it all down." The words taste like truth. "But I'm not you, Nathan. I never had their love to lose." He flinches. "You think I still love them? After this, I think you're still hoping there's something left to save." I move toward the door. "You have 24 hours before the FBI finds these documents. Make your choice. Where are you going? To finish what they started." I pause at the threshold. The question is, will you be standing with them when I do? Or with me? His voice stops me. "They'll never forgive you for this." I stopped needing their forgiveness the day they stopped being worthy of mine. Outside, my phone buzzes again. This time it's Martha. "They're at my house," she says without preamble. "They're desperate, Abigail. They're talking about leaving the country. Let them try." I start my car. "The FBI will be there within the hour." "And Nathan?" I watch through the window as my brother picks up his phone, staring at our mother's number like it might bite him. Nathan has to make his own choices now. I pull away from the curb. Just like I did. The sun catches grandmother's locket in my rearview mirror, sending fractured light across the dashboard. Some legacies are meant to be broken. Some families need to shatter before they can be rebuilt. And some choices once made can never be unmade. I turn toward Martha's house, toward whatever ending awaits us all. Martha's living room has become a war zone. Mother paces by the window. Father slumps in an armchair, and between them, spread across the coffee table, lies the wreckage of their lives. My evidence. Their lies. 20 years of manipulation laid bare. "You've destroyed everything," Father says quietly. "No." I remain standing, keeping distance between us. "You did that yourself." Mother turns, tears streaming. "The FBI is coming. Our accounts are frozen. What do you expect us to do? Confess. Take responsibility. For once in your lives, face the consequences of your actions. Like you're facing yours?" Father's voice hardens. "You think this revenge makes you righteous? Look what you've done to your brother." The door opens. Nathan steps in, looking haunted. Our eyes meet, and I see my own pain reflected there. "I found the offshore accounts," he says. "All of them." Mother reaches for him. "Darling, we can explain." "Don't." He recoils from her touch. "Don't call me that. Not after what you did with my signature." Father stands. "Everything we did was for this family." "Was it?" I pull out my phone, playing a recording. Father's voice fills the room, discussing shell companies with his lawyers. Then Mother's voice, calculating how to use Nathan's identity without his knowledge. "Turn it off," Mother whispers. "Why? Isn't this what family means to you? Using people? Manipulating them?" "You sanctimonious little..." Father lunges for the phone. Nathan steps between us. "Don't touch her." The room freezes. In 20 years, my brother has never defended me against them. Father's face darkens. "So this is how it ends? Both of you against us." "This ended years ago," I say. "You just couldn't see it through your own lies." Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Mother collapses onto the couch. "Please, Abigail. If you ever loved us." "That's the problem." My voice cracks. "I did love you. Both of you. I spent years trying to earn what you gave Nathan freely. And even now, even knowing everything, part of me still." The words die as headlights sweep across the windows. FBI vehicles pulling up. "There's a back door," Nathan says suddenly. "If you leave now." "Nathan, no." I grab his arm. "They'll charge you as an accomplice. Maybe that's what I deserve." He won't meet my eyes. "I knew something was wrong. I should have stopped them years ago." "This isn't your fault." "Isn't it?" He pulls away. "I was their golden child, remember? I watched them hurt you, and I did nothing." Footsteps on the porch. Heavy knocking. Father straightens his jacket, a lifetime of privilege in the gesture. "Linda, come here." Mother moves to his side. Automatic is breathing. They stand together, united one last time. When this is over, father says, "Remember who chose to destroy this family." The door bursts open. Agents pour in reading rights, securing the room. I watch my parents being handcuffed and feel nothing. No satisfaction. No vindication. Just emptiness. Nathan sinks onto the couch, head in his hands. What happens now? Now. I touch grandmother's locket. Now we learn who we are without their shadows over us. And if we're just as broken as they are? Before I can answer, an agent approaches. "Miss Mitchell, we found something in your father's private files. About your grandmother's estate." He hands me a document. As I read, my hands start shaking. "What is it?" Nathan asks. "The locket." I can barely form the words. It wasn't grandmother's. It was a replica. They sold the original years ago. Used the money for your first startup. Nathan stares at the locket, then at our parents being led away. Even their apologies were lies. I watch the patrol cars pull away, red and blue lights painting shadows across Martha's walls. In the end, revenge tastes like ashes. But truth? Truth tastes like freedom. And freedom, I'm learning, can be the loneliest thing in the world. The prison visiting room smells of industrial cleaner and despair. Mother sits across from me, orange jumpsuit hanging loose on her frame, while father occupies the next table with Nathan. Close enough to hear, too far to touch, a perfect metaphor for our family. The prosecutors offered a deal, I say, sliding papers across the table. If you testify against father's business partners, they'll reduce the charges. Mother's hands remain folded in her lap. You want me to betray your father too? Like you betrayed Nathan? Or me? Everything we did. Don't. My voice cuts like glass. Don't say it was for family. At the next table, father's voice rises. They're trying to split us up, Linda. Don't listen. They split us up years ago, Nathan says quietly. We just couldn't see it. Mother reaches for the papers, then stops. There's something you should know first. About the locket. The fake one? Save your explanations. No. She pulls an envelope from her jumpsuit. About the real one. My hands shake as I open it. Inside a photograph, grandmother wearing the locket, but it's different from the replica. Larger, with distinct engravings. It wasn't just jewelry, Mother continues. It was a key to a safety deposit box in Switzerland. Your father's emergency fund. Father stands abruptly. Linda, stop. They deserve to know, Ethan. All of it. Know what? Nathan moves to my table. What else have you been hiding? Mother's eyes fill with tears. The money we took from Nathan's account? It wasn't just for us. Half went to that box. Insurance in case everything fell apart. And now, I lean forward. Where's the key? Ask your brother. Nathan goes still. What? The night Jessica left, when you were drunk and desperate, you came to us. Said you needed money. We gave you the original locket as collateral. The world tilts. I turn to Nathan. You had it? All this time. He backs away, color draining from his face. I don't. I was drinking then, I don't remember. Check your storage unit, Mother says. The one in Seattle. Box 247. Father slams his hand on the table. Enough. No. Mother stands, stronger than I've ever seen her. I'm done protecting your secrets, Ethan. Done watching you pit our children against each other. Guards move toward us, drawn by the commotion. Nathan, I grab his arm. Is it true? He runs a hand through his hair. Maybe. Those months are blur, but I have a box there. I never opened it. Father laughs bitterly. So this is your revenge, Linda? Turning them against me. No. She signs the prosecution's deal with steady hands. This is me choosing our children over your pride. Finally, the guards approach. Visiting hours are over. Easton, Mandressing. Nathan, we need to. I know. He's already pulling out his phone. First flight to Seattle. Mother catches my hand as I turn to leave. The box, Abigail. It's not just money. What else? The truth. About everything. Your father's real business partners. The ones even the FBI doesn't know about. Father lunges forward, but guards restrain him. Linda, don't. Box 247, she repeats, releasing my hand. And Abigail? I'm sorry. For everything. Outside, Nathan paces the parking lot. You think she's telling the truth? About the box? Yes. I touched the fake locket. About being sorry? I don't know. What now? Now. I look at my phone. James has already booked our flights. Now we find out what's worth more than money to our father. What secret was big enough to destroy our family to protect? Nathan nods, a shadow of his old confidence returning. Together. I start the car. It's time to finish this. All of it. Behind us, the prison looms like a fortress. But ahead? Ahead lies Seattle, box 247, and whatever truth waits to shatter what's left of the Mitchell family legacy. Some revelations come too late for forgiveness. But maybe, just maybe, they come right on time for understanding. Box 247 contains a single manila envelope. No money. No grand revelations. Just photographs and a handwritten letter from grandmother, dated weeks before her death. I can't, Nathan says, pushing it toward me. You read it. The storage facility's fluorescent lights hum as I unfold the pages. Grandmother's elegant script fills each one, telling a story we never knew. How she discovered father's real business partners, human traffickers using his developments as transit points. How she gathered evidence, planning to expose everything. How she died in a car accident 3 days before she could act. She knew. My voice echoes in the empty corridor. She tried to stop him. There's more. Nathan pulls out the photos. Father with men we don't recognize. Properties we never knew existed. Bank statements showing millions flowing through shell companies. The FBI needs this. Wait. Nathan grabs my arm. Look at the dates. These transactions, they're still happening. Even with father in prison. Understanding hits like lightning. He's not in charge. He never was. He was protecting us. Nathan slumps against the storage unit. In his twisted way. Playing the villain so we'd never look deeper. That doesn't excuse what they did to us. No. But maybe it explains it. He hands me the original locket. Grandmother's real legacy. What now? I study the locket, seeing it clearly for the first time. Not just jewelry. Not just a key. A choice. Now we finish what grandmother started. I pull out my phone. But first, I need to call Martha. The conversation is brief. When I hang up, Nathan watches me expectantly. Mother's testimony, he asks. The prosecutors are expanding their investigation. But she made one condition. We stay out of it. Completely. She's still trying to protect us. Maybe. Or maybe she's finally choosing to protect the right things. We lock the storage unit. Evidence safely documented and encrypted. The Seattle rain falls soft around us as we walk to my car. I'm selling my company, Nathan says suddenly. Starting fresh. Something honest this time. Need a partner? He stops walking. You do that? After everything. Not for them. I touch the locket. For grandmother. For us. What about revenge? I thought revenge meant destroying everything they built. I watched the rain wash the city clean. But maybe real justice means building something better in its place. My phone buzzes. James texting about dinner plans, normal life continuing despite everything. Nathan peers at the message. He's good for you, he says. Keeps you honest. Like Jessica tried to do for you? Yeah. He manages a small smile. Maybe it's time I called her. We reach the car just as the rain intensifies. Before getting in, Nathan turns to me. Remember when we were kids? How you used to tell me stories about pirates finding treasure. You always wanted the pirates to win. But they never did in your versions. The treasure always went to someone who deserved it more. He meets my eyes. You were right then too. The drive to the airport is quiet, each of us lost in thought. The evidence is scheduled to reach the FBI tomorrow. Mother's expanded testimony starts next week. Father's choices will have to be his own now. At the terminal, Nathan hugs me. Our first real embrace in years. We could have been this, he whispers. All along, we could have been family. We are now. I step back. That's what matters. He boards his flight to San Francisco, where Jessica works at a tech startup. I head home to James, to Martha, to the life I've built despite everything. The locket rests heavy against my chest, grandmother's final secret safe inside. Some treasures aren't meant to be found. Some justice comes not from exposure, but from choosing what to build from the ashes of truth. I touch the locket one last time, then board my plane. Behind me, Seattle's rain washes everything clean. Ahead. Ahead lies the harder path. Not revenge. Not even justice. Just the slow, steady work of becoming whole.